decide, they have three options to choose from. So they have not yet made a decision whether they'll be canceling the holidays or not. So they have three options to choose from. And let me just quickly check my calendar. So from the three options that they have, the first one is to either cancel the holidays, the October holidays, and have the holidays on the week of the 20th of September to the 24th of September. Then the learners will be going back to school on the 27th. So I think well, that's one option that they have. And the second option is to then have the holidays from the 23rd of September and go back to school on the 27th. The third option that they have is to just keep everything as is right now. So those are the options that that they are discussing. Although nothing has been confirmed, I'll be keeping an eye on it and will probably update you guys. But as it stands, I believe that the camp will be on the 7th, 8th, and 9th of October.
So I want to ask that if they cancel the holidays, will we continue with what we have, or will we cancel, or will we just do a Saturday thing? What do you say? Or do we look at it when we get there?
I think for now we can just have the camp. For now, the dates are as is, the 7th, 8th, and the 9th. But if it happens that they cancel the holidays, then we would probably have the camp maybe for only just a day, maybe on a Saturday. Or
Is that feasible with a program? To have it on one day? I mean, it'll work out cheaper, but is it feasible?
We'll have to make it work. But I was looking at it like this. If, for example, they take, because the first option is to have the holidays from the 20th of September to the 24th. That week is a holiday. We may have the camp during that week.
But you're not available then?
Yeah, I'm not available on the Saturday.
Oh, only on the Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay, shall we then maybe talk this talk when we know about the dates or not?
Yeah, I think we'll revisit once they make a decision, because right now things are just as is, and I don't think we should be panicking about it. But although we should just keep an eye out on the developments that will be made.
Okay.
Are you covered, Mandy?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, I started a list of questions that have come out from our discussions with the hosts, with that long list of what the hosts will be doing. So I started about the money. We were talking about, I don't know if I understood correctly, Zanele. I missed it with the program, so I'm really sorry about that. We were thinking, we wanted to decentralize the money, that the hosts will gather the money from the people that are coming to their meeting. And then with that money, they will do what they need to do to host the meeting. And then Zanele, if I understood correctly, you had some questions about that. Do you want to introduce a discussion around that? While Pastor Shagan is with us still. Zanele?
Yes, excuse me, I was unmuting myself. Yes, good evening, everyone. Yes, I raised the issue of the money. And for me, I think I must use the word prefer. I prefer the institution or the organization that is doing the Africa Youth Camp handle the money than giving the individuals the responsibility of handling the money. Because it's not my thing, it is an institutional thing. But my participation is to host. And I said, I am not comfortable to handle the money. It doesn't matter how much or how little is the money. I would prefer to make it a more an organization thing, that this is the organization, it is a hosting, it is running this particular program, and for you to participate, this is how much you have to pay. We've got these different hosts, and this host is in Durban, this one is in this space, and these are the requirements. Then if the people that are come, I said I've got 5 people, and these are the people that are coming to me, or I've got another 2 spaces, then I'll be able to supply with that money and those t-shirts. And again, the other issue I raised is the issue of the t-shirts. Printing 5 t-shirts is more expensive than printing 50 t-shirts. So with the money is little, but we are still going to extra, more expensive way of doing it if we are going to print our own t-shirts instead of printing the group t-shirts. And again, somebody may see the other t-shirt and say, but I also pay 200, but so-and-so's t-shirt is nicer than mine. It's something I was thinking, it's cost effective if we do those printings once and for all. And again, the money is centralized, not given to individuals.
Okay.
Can I come in quickly?
Okay. Sure.
I agree fully with Alzanele. I believe that Pastor Shaken has to submit a report on the AYC spending and monies received. So if there's a way to centralize the money and perhaps allocate if certain hosts give budgets, then the funding can be allocated from that AYC amount, but the attendees should pay directly to the AYC account. Just for control also.
Just a practical thing now. People have never, very few people pay long in advance. So then the RQs will start on the Thursday, but then the money will still be on the way to the centralized what. And then you will need money to buy food, and you will need money to buy data. But then we still need to record it, and then I'm just thinking that it will be so complicated. But that's just my practical how it's been running. Yes, we have to be accountable, but we also need to be, yeah. So I don't know. But Shaken also wanted to say something, and then I see Zanele also.
Can I say something because my hand is up?
Oh, sorry.
Okay, go ahead, Auntie Zanele. You've muted.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not mute. Okay, sorry, let me unmute myself. I think for me, it's an issue of a principle. And the ICLD or whatever organization that we're working under can assist us in that effect. Because you don't want it to change when the situation is like this, and then because money is, for me, it's I don't want to handle money. Let me just say that up front. I don't want to handle money myself. I'd rather be given the money. I don't want to take people's money.
Okay, I understand that. But from how we had discussed it with the community, we had a template where hosts will be able to record the amount of money that they're receiving and the amount of money that they'll be spending. So there's a template that we had, and people would then record how much they're receiving, who paid, this certain amount of money. They'll be able to record all of that and be able to submit it once, the camp is over. But yeah, Pastor Shagan, I believe you had something to say on this.
So it's the first time that we're doing this hybrid session. And we have to make it as practical and as easy experience for everyone as possible. we do have a responsibility as an institute to report on our books to the Department of Social Services and to SARS, especially over money that is collected for any purposes and for any of our activities, including the Africa Youth Camp. So that is something that we need to think about and to understand that we do not have authority to break any or to go around any of the laws of the land. And we are not going to do that. But I think what we are all debating and discussing is which is the most practical way to, is it that for everybody who registers to pay the money into the AYC account that will go straight to the institute or to the PCC account, and then when we know how many people are coming from which center, we then reallocate the funds to the leader of that group, okay? But if we do it that way, will there be enough time, like Magda is saying, will there be enough time for those leaders then to organize the meals and the data and all the necessities? So we're looking at it, and I cannot dictate to you to say, this is the way I believe it must be. If I am very clear on it, I will just let you know that this is the way we must do it. Should we allow the people to, the leaders that, and it's not all of these leaders that we have worked with before. Cash is a very tempting thing for people, but we trust the people that, you know, have been working with us and are nominated, you know, to lead. So what would be the most practical way? Does it mean that somebody then must be always readily available to disburse funds from the institute account to whichever center? It also means that we have to get the banking details of all of those leaders in the various centers. So whatever decision we make today, we will be setting a precedent also for future hybrid sessions. So it's important that we think about it clearly. And we look at pros and cons. We look at both sides. Nobody must win this argument. All of us must be on the same page and to say, this is what we agreed on based on this reasoning. And when we have different information or when we reason differently, we will also collectively agree to do it differently. So, but we must own the decision that we make today, and there mustn't be another talk behind it. If there is a higher reasoning, we must bring it back again on the same table to reflect properly on it. So you don't have to agree with whatever is decided today. But if we make a decision, let's make it as a collective.
Okay. Okay. Zanella, I see your hand is up.
Yes. I think my thinking for me is trying. Okay. let me just say, okay, this is the first time that this way of the youth camp is being done. And for me, I really want the Africa Youth Camp to retain its authority over the camp, not to give to a Zanele, that particular responsibility. Yes, the other responsibility, because Zanele has a volunteer to host, already that is a big responsibility. But I will prefer that there is part that the institution or the organization itself is holding, because this is its own event. So it's now, as I look at it, when we bring each and every responsibility, it will look like a Zanele event in her house, If for me, it's losing its grip when you give all this responsibility to a person who doesn't belong to the organization. I don't belong to the Africa Youth Camp. I don't belong to the ICLD. I am a part of it because of association. So it seems as if it's loosening it too much to give the volunteers so much authority and responsibility over an institution and the way it's doing things. That's how I look at it.
Okay, I hear you, Sister Zanele, and I see your concern. Even I don't think that the T-shirt will be printed, for example, in different places. I think the committee still has to print this T-shirt centrally from Pretoria or from wherever we find it in the country, the cheapest, and we have to pay for it. The Institute has to pay centrally, both for the T-shirt and for the distribution of it. It must be a uniform T-shirt for everyone. It mustn't be that Takastad prints their own and then Pretoria prints and then Haukelo also prints a different one. I don't think that will work. There are things that must be done centrally. And the AYC name, the brand, the authority, the accounting, all of that must be protected. Okay. So while we are decentralizing the functions to different hosts, the center must not lose the grip.
Okay, well, with regards to the T-shirts, we had discussed that Isaac will be designing the what will be on the T-shirt, the printing, the design, and then send it out to different hosts who will then be able to print out the T-shirts. But then another thing that we had also discussed was that, for example, I'm in Bronkhorstspruit and Tabani is in Pretoria. So we can work together and collaborate, so that the cost will be much lesser than me printing by myself here in Bronkhorstspruit. So that's what we had decided. But now I was thinking if we were to centralize, the printing of T-shirts, we would have to pay for the T-shirts and also take into account that we'll have to pay for the distribution costs, right? Will that, the amount that people are paying, which is 200 rands, will it then be able to accommodate all these costs? Because, we still have to look at data, we still have to look at food. And then if we centralize this, we also have to look at distribution costs to carry it to different places.
If you don't print the T-shirt, for example, in one place, it will be more expensive. The lesser the number that you print, the more expensive it is.
Mm.
So if you're printing 5, it's more expensive than if you're printing 50.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I guess then we'll be then centralizing the printing of t-shirts as well. So with regards to the, because we haven't made a decision yet on how we're going to work out, you know, the payments and everything like that. I think if we are to use, if we are to pay into a centralized bank account, we would then need to have a deadline. You know, we'd have to give people a deadline to say, let's say, for example, they have to pay by let's say by the 5th of October, so that we will be able to distribute money to different hosts in time, so that they can buy food and whatever that they need. I see there's a hand. You can unmute and yeah.
Yes, it's Chris. According to me, on all the points based on what we are actually discussing, I see that the only thing that has changed or shifted in the Africa Youth Camp is not its function, but it's the venue. It was once hosted on one venue. Now, because of the situation we talk of today, it means the venues are more than one. But I believe in terms of the logistics, I think it's well said. To me, how I hear and this Anele pastor and that, I see that it's clear that everything should be done from that main point, the original part. It's only the venue that differs. So it's only how we are going to, how the motherboard is going to distribute that according to the number of participants in each and every sub venue, which is like in Pretoria and in Mpumalanga or wherever. Meaning to say, that depends actually with how the motherboard, which is the operating board, the youth camp board committee, handles that. To say out of that side we have 5 people, because I think all the logistics mostly they are like the same. Let's talk of data. You can actually look at data. Data is more of the same on networks. So it's like, I think it's a bit easy in terms of those calculations. It's only the venue. So I was thinking about this one. It's not clear, but it's also very clear that individuals cannot sustain that from an individual perspective. What you only do is you become the venue. You sustain the
or are you
pressure.
still going to be able to join us?
Sorry, Chris, you can finish your point.
I was just all finished, but I was just saying, I think the main problem is about the venue. All the other logistics, to me, I think it's very clear that the youth camp committee should handle every aspect. But where the venue part is involved, I think that is where individual or the hosts come in. But facilities and everything, I think it will be up to the youth camp, to the committee, what they want in terms of the money distribution, the food, the data, whatever. I think the consumption looks the same all across, because we are dealing with one nation, which is South Africa, and more of around South Africa, we can say. So maybe outside South Africa, that is when we can say we don't know the how much money will be required to buy data per day or that. But basically, from us, around, and even food, whatever food. I think there must be also be like the same recipe, because we are hosting one thing. It's not like these ones are doing on their own and these ones are doing their own thing and these ones are trying to be superior to the other. It's not like that. We are under one board. So the board is the one which controls, even like we talk of like the breakfast or whatever which comes in each and every position. I think it must come from there. Then that will be also be helping as to how much you need to use on each and every step from day one until you finish.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I think if as I said, if you are to centralize this, we then need to have some sort of a deadline so that we'll have enough time to distribute money to different hosts. Because as Auntie Martha was saying, in most cases, people pay late. So now if people pay, let's say, for example, on the 6th in the evening, and they pay, for the Africa Youth Camp, would we then have enough time to distribute all the amounts to different hosts? So my suggestion was we should then have a deadline to say, okay, for example, let's say on the 5th of October will be the last day. And then from there on, we'll be distributing, what the Institute has received to different hosts. So that's the suggestion that I'm putting forward. So yeah.
I want to, I didn't put my hand up, but can I shift the conversation a little bit to a different direction? Chris, do you know how many people will attend the Africa Youth Camp at your venue? And Mandy, do you know? And Viwe, do you know? And Zanele, do you know? And Gaugelo, do you know? And Alida, you will be with us at, I know 5 people so far. I don't know more than that. So do you know how many people will be, yeah.
Go first.
Okay.
I don't know until I get the program. Then the program will help me to organize myself to say, okay, if the program is like this, I can take so many people.
Okay. From my side as well, I don't know how many people as yet. I don't know how many people will be joining.
And you don't have estimates?
My best guess right now is close to 10. Maybe about 8. Auntie Martha, I think you're muted. Okay, Auntie Martha.
I'm sorry, I was trying to ask Eso if he's still coming or not, and then my phone doesn't want to stop talking.
Okay.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is we don't know, and the money
Is it your
to run
phone
the
or
African...
is it you?
It's me also. So we need to know how many people are going to be there, and we need to get those people registered, and then so that they will come, so that one can have the money, so that one can give the.
Yeah, I think what we should do is we should as people will be paying, let's say for example, those who are in Eastern Cape, those who are in Takastad, as they pay to the ICLD account or the PCC account, they should inform their host that they have paid and show proof of payment, so that we'll know how many people have paid from Takastad. And then as we distribute the money to Takastad, we'll be distributing the correct amount of money. If, let's say, there's 5 people in Takastad, then we know that we will be distributing 1,000 rand to Takastad only. So, Auntie Zanele, I see the question about people bringing their own lunch packs. That's something that we also discussed with the committee, because other people won't necessarily need, food. For example, Tabani, he's not here, but then he'll be using the school's data, and he'll be using the food. He won't necessarily be buying food, but he will be just at his res where he's staying, and he'll be using Wi-Fi, that is provided by the school. So that's then shows how things are a bit different, with this camp. But then what we had discussed was that even those who will be bringing their own lunchbox, they should pay 200 rands, because I believe that can go a long way. It can help out others who might need sponsoring. I don't know if you're covered, Auntie Zanele.
I've
And
just
also-
said I would prefer a situation where people bring their own lunch packs for me, and then they will receive the t-shirt so that I don't handle money. I've got the Wi-Fi in the house, so I won't need any money for data. So the only money that, the only thing that they will need their t-shirts. But everybody will have their own pack, lunch pack. I don't prepare pack. I don't prepare anything. Come lunchtime, go to your backpack, you eat your lunch, you sit wherever. And then that is what, and then when you finish, we go to the program, you get your t-shirt, and I don't handle any money. So we can say the camp is 200 rand, and people will bring their own pack. Yeah, but I really, really don't want to handle anybody's money.
Will they be sleeping over?
It depends. The one from the family, I will keep them to sleep over, but the people that are not from the family, I will not be able to have space for them.
Okay, Auntie Magda, see your hand is up. I think you're muted.
I think the lunch pack is a good idea if it will work for you, but like for us, it won't work because people are going to sleep over. We're going to be at the campsite. But I think we are going to be the only ones that sleep over. So that's why we wanted the hosts to come and say, but this is how it will work for me. And that this is how I want it to work, that it would be flexible for each host to work in the way that they, we want to accommodate the hosts because they're helping us. So, so we need to just talk further then about that. So if you are, yeah, so that's just what I wanted to say. That's why we look as if we're so flexible, but we are so flexible because we want to accommodate the different hosts in the different places to make it easier for you guys. We don't want to be not accountable. We want that as well, but we also want to accommodate the different.
Yeah. Okay. Chris, I see that your hand is up.
Yes, I also wanted to ask, maybe before we proceed so much, because I think based on the question that Auntie Magda has asked about how many people, is the my question is the youth camp committee not going to give the hosts the participants, or the hosts should look for the participants?
May I answer that, Khogelo? The reasoning in my head was that we want to decentralize and have smaller meetings. We don't want big meetings because, with coronavirus and all that, We're not geared for that. So we were thinking, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I was thinking like Mandy, her son's friends, and the friend and the other friend, and Mandy, 5 only. And Gauguelo, the people around him in Bronkhorstspruit that they're already working with. And in Tarkastad, the people that we already know. And I was thinking about you, Chris, your son, and maybe another son, and what's his name? Prosper. Is it No. He said that he wants to bring his cousins, and I said maybe you can work together. So if it's 5, it's fine. Honest, you know.
Okay.
So if it's just 5 people, it's fine. It doesn't have to be lots. And if Zanele can do 15 people, you can do that. But if you only have 5, it's also fine. But just to keep the Africa Youth Camp going and to practice this time, how are we going to do it online? Because it's new for all of us. So actually, yes, I'm saying those people that you know, that you feed them into the Africa Youth Camp.
Okay.
So, Gauguelo, I want to interject by saying we now understand that the situation of every host and hostess is different. So we cannot make a universal blanket rule to say that everybody must bring their lunch pack, but there are hosts that will make that rule and say, okay, I am hosting you, but make sure that you bring your own lunch pack. There is no cooking at my place. There is no cooking at our church. We want every participant to bring their own lunch pack. Now, you will have to enforce that rule if you choose that option, because you know that young people, there will be somebody who didn't bring his own lunch bag and he will be perching on another. So you will have to manage that situation. But whereas that option for me is practical and simple, there are other places where you rather want to provide lunch for them. And what then will be the financial difference between the host that is providing lunch and the host that is not providing lunch?
I think, there's a difficulty with having to have the Africa Youth Camp in this format, but I think for those who will be coming to the Africa Youth Camp with their own lunch packs, they should still pay the 200 Rand fee. But as you said, things will be different for each and every single person, and we should take that into account. Those who will be asking their attendees to bring lunchbox, they should specify that, so that we will know. Okay, for example, as Auntie Zanella was saying that she does not want to handle money. That's okay. So I guess then those who will be attending will be paying 200 Rand, and then the money that will be received will then help to buy t-shirts for them. And then whatever is left over will then be spread amongst the other hosts who might need financial assistance. Auntie Magda, I see your hand is up.
Oh, no.
Oh.
That is what we discussed with Tabane, nah? Because he's not needing money, he's not needing data, nothing, just that t-shirt. And then we said that every year at the Africa Youth Camp, we had an amount. We actually tried to get the main amount of the Africa Youth Camp has always been the camp fees. And that just went straight to the camp. It wasn't for anything else. I normally covered the admin out of my pocket, and then the food. The last 2 Africa Youth Camps, we got sponsors for the food, but we did put a little bit money for the food. But every camp attendant paid at least 50 Rand for sponsoring somebody else. And that money we added together, and then we sponsored people like that. So maybe one can say then this time, if you don't need the money for food, or people come with, you don't need data, then that extra money, like you are saying, it could be used to sponsor some other people. But then the sponsoring goes for, the last time it went for the bus, and it went for the for people who didn't have money to pay for the accommodation. So one can do that.
Okay. So I think we should then just move on to the next point. I think these 3 points will be grouped together. But I think, sure, Mandy, I see your hand is up.
Thanks, Hakelo. Just quickly before we go over this point, perhaps we can include in the registration link, we can ask, do you want lunch provided, or will you bring your own? That way we'd be able to see better. But that's just a point in that.
Okay. Okay, yeah. I think then, yeah, people will then be able to decide. But we also haven't discussed the link with other hosts. But I think let us just get to this 3 points, and then I'll give you a chance to, explain to others what the group, what the Africa Youth Camp link is about and how it works, if it's okay with you.
100%.
Okay, cool. So so I think we should just move to this 3 points. The next 3 points, I think we'll just have to group them together. The recorded versus live, time versus time delay, copyright versus replay. So Pastor Shagan, I think you might be aware of this, but we were discussing whether we should have recorded sessions. Those who will be speaking, should they record their sessions, or should it be live? Or because we were discussing about certain challenges that may happen if you have a live, if you have speakers who will be recording live. Network connectivity might not necessarily be the same for everyone. Maybe for other speakers, recording would work best for them. Maybe they're more comfortable when recording their sessions first. So we just wanted your direction on that. And also the copyright versus replay. I think it was a question that was brought by Auntie Mafta to say, will people be allowed to have, in a way, those sessions or recorded, or the Africa Youth Camp sessions, can they be able to play them maybe, after a couple of months, if they want to share the word, like, people normally do, right? They share sermons with other people. Will they be given the freedom to do that, or should they not do that? Because one of the issues that was raised was that now people have paid 200 rands to attend the Africa Youth Camp. So others will then be watching all these sermons, for free. So we just needed your clarity and your direction.
Okay, I'll start from where you stopped. I think the moment that the camp ends, we cannot be in full control of the recordings of the sessions. Once it has been shared with participants, the participants will share it with their friends, they will share it with others. Hopefully, it will spread the word of God, it will spread the gospel. So we cannot put any control on that. I think we should rather allow it to spread like wildfire. Okay, that's what I think. Second, with respect to whether the people can do pre-recorded session or live session, my preference will be live session because of attendance of people are there, they want to listen, they want to engage. Now, you can ask speakers who may not be able to speak live into a live session to then pre-record. But then let us not forget that the success of this hybrid session will depend by and large on the host or the hostess, because after a speaker has spoken or a pre-recorded material has been played, you want the people from your center to engage, and you need to be able to engage them yourself and say, what did you hear? And what does that mean? And how are you going to apply that? Have you given your life to Christ? Do you have this or any kind of struggle in your life that you want to be prayed for? Can I ask prayer for you from the speaker in the next session? Or should I pray for you right now? Or should I gather other people around you to pray with you? So these are some of the issues that the hostess or the host will have to handle during the sessions.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that. So yeah, I'm Auntie Martha. I don't know if you.
I like what Shigen is saying, is that even though we want the Africa Youth Camp to be the Africa Youth Camp, but there are some things that we can't control, and that we also what I like what he said was that he underlined the importance of the host more than the organizational importance of creating the venue, but creating the environment that the kids can learn from what the people are speaking on the that we need to maybe creating the logistics and the environment is important, but I think even more important is to create the atmosphere where they can hear and listen and learn and change. Yeah.
Because young people will appreciate the opportunity to connect with each other anyway, and then they can use the opportunity to play if you are not there. So the host or the hostess has to be there. Our idea of a host or a hostess is someone who will be able to manage the time, manage the space, and break down the issue for the issue that has been raised by the speaker or speakers, break it down for these young people and allow them to interact in a space that is controlled, that they don't take the discussion away out of context. They stick to the context and they can pray for one another, or prayer issue can be escalated to an appropriate leader centrally.
Okay. Okay, thank you for the clarity. Yeah, I don't know if anyone has any questions regarding to these 3 points. If anyone else wants to say something. Okay, so I take it that we're good. So the seventh, no, before I go to the seventh point, I just wanted to give Mandy, yeah, the floor to explain more about the Africa Youth Camp link.
Okay, thank you, Khawhela. In a meeting that myself, Magda, and Khawhelo had, I think it was 2 weeks ago, I shared a registration link done on Google Forms, where it's basically you can ask name, surname. There's a section where people can indicate which is closer to them, whether it's Pretoria East or Mamelodi or Takastad or Zambia. And that link can be shared to everyone. We can ask several questions, such as, do they want food packs, or will they need transport? Do they need a t-shirt? Or yeah, what size t-shirt they are, just to get the initial information. And the link can be easily shared on WhatsApp with the people that you think are interested. Then as people answer the questions, it tabulates into an Excel spreadsheet. And I've shared it with Khawhelo so that he can see as people answer. And that'll make communication, or it'll allow the host to have more information about the people that are coming there, such as emergency contact details, or, you know, a situation if there's a COVID outbreak, you know, who to contact, who needs to isolate, all of that. So just it'll be an easy virtual way of getting people to register, and then just getting all the information on one platform. So that if, as Pastor Shagan says, we have quarterly Africa Youth Camp, we can just go on that list and get everyone's details and re-invite them. But that's, yeah, that's the long and short. I don't know if I left anything out.
No, that's perfect. Summarize it perfectly.
Thanks.
Sure. So yeah, that's what the link is about. I think she summarized it perfectly. The link will then be shared to, I think it will be shared on the WhatsApp group, the group that we have for the host. So yeah, I think people can also just have a look at it and see what it's about, and it'll be way, you know, easier for them to navigate around it. Pastor Shagan, I don't know if you have any comment on that.
No, I think it makes the admin easier.
Yeah.
And I think it is it's the best you know, way to get registration on, especially for an hybrid session like this.
Yeah, I agree.
So thanks, Mandy, for bringing that to the table.
Yeah,
You're welcome, Pastor.
Yeah, so moving on to the seventh point, the criteria for hosting. I believe Auntie Martha sent out the Word document to everyone where the criteria has been stipulated, you know, about about the host, the host and the hostess, right? The criteria that needs to be met in order to host the attendees. And most importantly, I think we should also take into consideration the COVID-19 regulations. We should ensure that there's social distancing, people are wearing masks. And yeah, people should, I think they should be transparent, you know, with regards to how things are, you know, on their end, because with people being in different places, it's not easy to know how, you know, those in, like, for example, if you get stuck, you should be able to tell us so that we can help where we can. So I think, Martha, have you sent it out already, the document?
No, I want everybody's email. Will you start sending me your email addresses? Then I can send you the program. I can send you the financial thing that Tabani made for us, and I can send you the criteria as well. I sort of put on the WhatsApp chat it's not exactly the criteria, but it's things to start thinking. I think it's overlapping actually. So that things that you should start thinking about, how will you do this? How will you do that? How will you do that? How will you, so it's to start thinking about that. And then I think one will have to have a one-on-one conversation about that. But please start sending me your email addresses, and then I'll make sure that you get that. I think it's that thing that I sent you, Khogelo, no?
Yeah, I've already received it. Mandy, you can go ahead.
Can I just ask, what's the timeline that you want to start getting registrations? If we work on
ASAP, yeah, as soon as possible.
so
Because
we
the
can
camp
say
is
by
7,
Sunday.
8, 9. Yeah, the camp is 7, 8, 9 October. So we actually only have September left. And
So
maybe
if
a
we
week
can
of,
finalize
we don't have, yeah.
August. So if you can finalize the link by Sunday. So Helen, maybe you and I can meet for like, I don't know, 30 minutes Sunday morning, or tomorrow if you're available. And then
Yeah,
we just
tomorrow is-
finalize all the finer details that needs to be added. Then we can first send it to the hosts and get their input on whether anything should be added. And then we can start forwarding it out.
Sure. Yeah, tomorrow is perfect.
I think you need to consider adding some of the COVID protocols that may need to be observed at every center.
Yes.
We don't want a situation where parents become over enthusiastic and then they want to sue the institute for not being clear. So about the protocol, COVID protocol or COVID protocol being observed at the center. So when you finalize the forms, you would need to send it to me just for me to also read through, and I will suggest that you send it not just to me, send it to Magda, send it to Sister Zanele, so that we can all look at it and see before we roll it out that it's watertight.
100%.
Or even if it's not watertight, at least it's the best that we can do for now.
Mm. Okay, so we'll give a timeline of, let's say, I'll work on it tomorrow. Then, Khogelo, if you're available tomorrow afternoon, then maybe you can do another Google Meet and just go through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we can send it out to everyone on Sunday. Hopefully we'll send it out to the hosts and Pastor Sheikh and Mama Magda on Sunday, and then hopefully Monday, Tuesday it can go out. So if we give a deadline of the 1st of September, just so that people can make payments and start sharing the details. It's got a nice thing that once you click confirm and everything, then there's an automated email that can get sent out to the person to ask or to give them the bank details, tell them how to pay and all of that.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. And then we also need to get, as I see Sanele put a very important comment, that we need to add a disclaimer on the email, but we'll discuss that between you and I.
Sure.
Cool.
So I think, can we move on to the next point? Okay. So the 8th point here is just to inform the host that we will be having meetings next month. I think starting from next weekend on a Saturday. The Africa Youth Camp Committee will be meeting, and we would like for all the hosts to be part of the meeting so that they can be up to date so that they can know what is expected of them. So we would like for all the hosts to be part of the committee leadership meetings as from next week, Saturday.
As many as can be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Will there be option that if you're unable to, for some reasons, you can then listen to the recording?
Yes, in most cases, we do record the meetings, and we also take down the minutes. And after every meeting, we then send it forward to everyone. So hence it is important for Auntie Magda to capture all the emails, so that after each and every single meeting, we will send out the recording and the minutes of the meeting. Mandy, you can go ahead.
Thank you. You reminded me now, and I think Magda also forgot, when we're discussing the purpose of the host, or I won't say the criteria, but one of the things that Magda mentioned to me is after this session of Africa Youth Camp, the hosts, I mean, ideally it would be nice if we can have, the host can be a sort of there should be a discipleship with everyone that comes to the house. So if I have, let's say 5 people, then I can follow up on them regularly, to check how's their walk with Christ, all of that. So it's not a once-off thing. So I think if that can be discussed with the committee and the hosts that aren't with us, if everyone understands that, that should be the way forward. I don't know, Magda, if I'm doing it any justice, but I'm just trying to remember how you phrased it to me. That's the way we should go with hosting as well.
You're right. It's an opportunity.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Mandy. It's not a once-off thing. It's something that we should check up on the people that will be attending. So if another lockdown, so Pastor Shagan, I just wanted also to know from you, what would happen if there's another lockdown? Do we then postpone the Africa Youth Camp?
Since you're going to be having meetings every week now from next month, let's review it when we are faced with that situation. Let's not try to cross the river until when we get to the bank of the river. So if a lockdown comes up, we will see how to manage it. But for now, I think since we're not sure it will come up, and if it comes up, we don't know whether it will be level 1, level 2, level 3, 4, 5 adjusted, hopefully not level 3, hopefully not level 3 or 4 or 5. Hopefully that it will be something that is manageable.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. So I think now the 10th point is just to discuss the way forward. I think as I just said, we'll be having meetings, and in each and every committee meeting, we would need all the hosts to be present. If it's not possible to attend the meeting, you can inform us. And Auntie Zanele, you can go ahead.
I'm not sure where to say I wanted to raise before we get to way forward. There was a request that we must do fundraising. And I did send a proposal that it's very difficult to just approach people and asking them for money. something that they don't see. And again, it's only 1 month. I am not sure if what type of a drive of a fundraising is to be done. So I suggested that we need something from the youth camp to whatever communication that is formal, if we have to do that. But again, looking at the time, I'm not sure how much fundraising we can do. Yeah.
It's I think, if I remember correctly, you sent a GoFundMe link as a way to see whether we can do something like that, right?
Excuse me, what you saying? Hello?
I'm saying, if I remember correctly, you sent out a GoFundMe link as some sort of a template to see whether we can do something similar to that.
Yes, it was just an example of a fundraising that other organizations was doing. But again, I just wanted to check, are we still expected to do the fundraising? And if we are going to do the fundraising, is there anything that we are going to use to do the fundraising? And again, how practical it is a fundraising now if we have got only 1 month? I think that is my question.
Okay, Mandy, you can go ahead.
I remember in the past, didn't we ask the participants to raise funds? Magda?
In the past, we just asked our friends and our family and the people who know about the Africa Youth Camp if they would make a donation or whatever. And then we prayed. And then God just always came through. I've never done like really any organized fundraising. So, but we don't have a lot of time left. That's why I thought maybe it's better that it's small groups with us, so that it doesn't have a lot of funds involved. But I think we need to pray and we need to ask God to help us and open doors for funding. I'm sorry, it's maybe an unsatisfactory answer, but I mean, I've just always used everything that I can, every way, 50 Rand here, 50 Rand there, 100 Rand there, and then I phone people and say, we're stuck with the bus, and then people gave us. I think out of relationship, one can ask people and they can give, but yeah, I don't know if it makes sense what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, it does. Sorry, Rafa.
No, I was saying, I think, yeah, that's what we've been doing. And in most cases, we would ask those who are in a position to pay for, an extra person or help out somebody else. And then they were able to do that. But we never we never had something like that. But I was thinking we should then look at it maybe for next year to have a GoFundMe account in a way, and then have that for next year, because I think we would have to start early if we were to fundraise like that.
Yeah, these letters that we used to send out to corporates. So I'll see if I still have them on emails, but we can do that after the camp because it summarizes the agenda and the reason for the Africa Youth Camp very well.
Okay. So yeah.
So you are adopting the motion to actually do fundraising only for next year, that this camp, you run it as the previous ones, depending on one person to sponsor another, and then we speak to our friends and all of that.
Yes, because I think we are about a month away from the camp, so I don't know how how we'll be able to generate money in a way. But I would like to suggest that if there is someone who probably would like to approach a certain company. I remember in 2019 I requested to have a letter with the AYC letterhead and everything like that, and I went to Pick and Pay to ask for fundraising. If, for example, you want to approach corporates, I think we can then help there if possible.
Good.
You just have, sorry?
Good.
Okay.
Can I say one more thing? Something that has helped me a lot was I went to my congregation and I asked, would you be prepared to make a meal to make one meal for the camp? And I was so surprised because I got all the meals covered. So this church did this meal, that church did that meal, that church did that meal. So maybe we can do that, because maybe people are generous if one asks them. So maybe one can just ask and say, I have these 5 kids coming to my house can you bake them a cake, or can you make them hamburgers, or whatever, and I found that without much problem, I got all the meals covered like that. And it was good for the people to bring the food and spend the time with the kids and then take their things back. They were ministered to as much as the kids were ministered to by the food. So, and yeah.
Yeah. So I just also, Auntie Martha, I don't know if I just wanted to take it back a bit to discuss whether if we're going with t-shirts or caps. Pastor Shagan, I don't know if you are aware, but there was a suggestion that was made of maybe instead of having t-shirts for this year, we should have caps, which would cost less.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that, but I would like to understand the rationale behind not having t-shirts.
It's money only. We're trying to look at cheaper, because a 200 Rand is not a lot of money. Because it needs to buy food and data and a t-shirt. And the t-shirt last time was almost 100 Rand. And then we bought like 120, I don't know, printed a lot of t-shirts. So it's a t-shirt is a lot of money.
Mandy, I see your hand is up.
If I can also provide some guidance. If we are going to order t-shirts, we need to consider how is it going to get to everyone. So I was suggesting that if we rather get caps, then we can use a PEP, because they do courier services, and I think it's like 60 Rand. So that every town that needs caps, it can come from Pretoria, then go to the destinations. I think the only one that was a point of concern was Zambia.
Zambia's got PEP.
They've got PEP, okay. There's PEP is a Postnet. PEP is cheaper than Postnet. But if we...
And PEP doesn't do... sorry, I'm not sure I get you right. Is PEP doing the cap or distributing the cap?
They have a courier service. So you can send it from one PEP store to another PEP store.
But why can't you do the same with t-shirts?
We can, but if we're spending, let's say, 80 Rand a t-shirt compared to 40 Rand a cap, then we'll still have money for courier services. Because it will cost more it will cost more for the t-shirts.
No, not really.
What's the price difference from the quotes that we received?
I've just sent a parcel with PEP. They've got one price. Whatever fits in there is fine. They don't weigh it.
Yes, no, I'm saying what's the prices between the T-shirt and the cap?
The T-shirt is more expensive than the cap, but the sending cost doesn't change.
Is the
Doesn't
same.
affect the sending cost. Yeah. So, so they've got a small parcel and they've got a big parcel, and the small parcel is, and the big parcels, I can't remember, 90 Rand and 120 Rand. But you can put whatever in there. You can put a blanket in there or a small painting. It doesn't matter. It's the same price.
Okay.
Just to go back a bit, I just wanted to ask if we are all, if it's okay to centralize the payments, if we should pay to for example, ICLD bank account. Is it okay if we do that? Because I don't think we've made a decision on that yet.
Wasn't the decision that you said that the committee had prepared a document that hosts can complete?
Yeah. Yeah,
so
I just
that we can.
didn't get
So-
feedback whether people are, you know, okay with that.
I'm comfortable with either, as long as it's reported, because when the ICLD gets audited, you know, it needs to have a true reflection of what was received and what was spent. So I think we'd need to ask Pastor Shagan.
Pastor Shagan?
Yeah, I think it would be best that a central account either of PCC or ICLD is given for this year's youth camp, and then it can be used as a coordinating account so that money doesn't just fly around here and there. Every payment can go in there, and then within a short time, the money can be dispersed to the different hosts. It means the different hosts will also have to register, and we have their details, including their banking details.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I think we're done for the day. Is there anyone who would like to close for us with prayer? Right. I don't know if is everyone sorted? I just wanted to make sure before we close. Is everyone sorted? If you have more questions, I just wanted to make sure that everyone is sorted.
Just the one from me. When are we going to get a draft program? Is it going to be on the registration, or we are going to be, it's going to be forwarded to us so that we know exactly how the day will look like?
I think I said about 3 times today that I'll send it to you as soon as I have everybody's emails. So I'm working on it. There is a draft program, and I did communicate it to you on the WhatsApp. It's basically the same, but I will send you the written draft program tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess then that's it. Shall we close our eyes and pray? Heavenly Father, would like to thank you for being with us this meeting. We thank you, Father, for the guidance that you have given us. We thank you that, Lord, you have been with us, Lord, since the start of the planning, Dimaka, of this camp since June. Lord, you've been with us, you've helped us, Lord, Dimaka, to get this far. And I just pray that as you're about to end this meeting tonight, I pray that may you be with each and every individual that is here. Lord, I pray that you be with their families. I pray that you watch over their families. I pray that you keep them safe. I pray that, Father, Lord, you help us to together once more, Lord, in our next meeting. May we get, Lord, all these ideas, Father, Lord. May we ask them, Lord, from you, and may you give us direction, Lord, on where to go. And as Lord, we are stepping, Lord, into an uncharted territory, Lord, we do not know how, Lord, we should do things, but we're only relying on your wisdom. I pray that you help us. In the name of Jesus Christ, I pray, Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you guys for being with us. Thank you guys for being with us. I hope to see you in our next meeting. Cheers. Good night.
Thank
Bless
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.